So you're thinking about making a move to San Antonio, Texas. In this video, we're gonna give you the pros and the cons to Fair Oaks Ranch. This is a suburb right outside of San Antonio, and we're gonna give you the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between that you would like to know to see if Fair Oaks Ranch is the suburb for you. If this is your first time to our channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in San Antonio and its surrounding areas, make sure you subscribe or tap the bell for more notifications so you can be one of the first to get notified when we drop a new video. My name is Katie Powers, and my husband Steven Garza and I get phone calls from people just like you every single day who are looking to make a move to the area. Whether you're 6 days or 6 months away from making your transition, we would absolutely love to hear from you. We would be honored to be your realtors of choice to help you make a smooth transition into the area. Now let's dive in to the pros for Fair Oaks Ranch. Pro number one, it is a very family-friendly community. According to niche.com, Fair Oaks Ranch was voted number 62 out of 418 towns for being a family-oriented community. Between the schools, the playgrounds, and the area overall, it's just a very, very great family-oriented community. You're gonna see kids playing on the playgrounds, playing in the front yard, sitting in the golf carts, and you're also gonna see at the country club that they have events and activities every single week that are oriented just for you and the family.
Pro number two is the location of Fair Oaks Ranch and the proximity to San Antonio and Boerne. So I grew up in Fair Oaks. I know the proximity very well. I went to Boerne High School, and so I remember as a junior and senior driving to school and then going into San Antonio on weekends. So it's right between the two of them. The location is phenomenal. If you want to go experience Boerne and the shopping and the restaurants and walking down Main Street, it's a solid 15-20 minutes from Fair Oaks, depending on traffic. If you want to get into San Antonio, 10-15 minutes to I-10-1604, which is kind of the start where all the shopping, the Rim, Fiesta, Texas, and then below that you have a street called Days of Allah that has every kind of fast food restaurant you want. But there's a lot of growth out there now too, and so the highway is starting to get a lot of commercial. And so your restaurants are popping up, your small businesses are popping up along the highway, all the way from San Antonio to Boerne, and Fair Oaks being right in the middle of that. It's just benefiting from all the growth out there. And so that's definitely pro number two.
Pro number three, larger lots and golf course homes. You're gonna see a large variety in Fair Oaks of different size lots, where in other communities such as Boerne or San Antonio, a lot of the communities have the same size tract lots everywhere you go. But in Fair Oaks, you'll have 1/4 acre lots all the way up to 5-acre tract lots. So depending on the part of Fair Oaks that you're looking, and the older part of Fair Oaks, you're gonna see 2-acre, 3-acre tracts. And then of course, the older part of the community also back up to the golf course. So you're gonna have a lot of variety in Fair Oaks, but it's a really great place to get more land in that community.
Pro number four, the country club. One of my favorite places to visit in Fair Oaks. Katie and I were just out there at one of their events. My brother took us to the country club with his family, and we just hung out and listened to some live music. So I love the country club. I worked there for a year after high school before going to college. So I know the country club very well. It's got 2 golf courses, 2 full-size 18-hole golf courses that are kept very nice. It's got golf carts, as Katie mentioned. I love being in the golf cart. There's just something different about driving in the golf cart versus driving in the car. Yes, you can take your car to the country club, but it's much funner just to hop in the golf cart and go play some music along the way and just share the experience with all the other families out there. As Katie mentioned, family-friendly community. When we were out there, tons of kids running around, golf carts everywhere. You saw very little vehicles, and the roads are friendly to golf carts. People understand that they're driving next to golf carts, so they slow down. The speed limits are slower on the parkway, so the golf carts can cruise in the bike lanes, essentially. The country club, near and dear to my heart, and I hope one day you can share in the experience. But that brings me to con number 1. What do you think of when you think of country club? You think of money, right? It just is what it is. If you watch the Caddyshack movies, you got the judge, you got the lawyer. It's just one of those stigmas that come with the country club, is the people around it all have good jobs or high profile jobs. And with that, taxes. Con number 1, definitely high taxes in Fair Oaks. You have 3 different counties converging together in Fair Oaks. And so with that, depending on where you're at, you're gonna pay one tax rate, or you might pay multiple counties. So the taxes are naturally just gonna be higher in Fair Oaks. You get the beautiful community, the family-friendly community, but like everything in life, you pay for it.
Con number 2, drive time. So Fair Oaks is a very small community, which has a population right around 9,000 people. So there isn't a hospital in Fair Oaks. There isn't a grocery store in Fair Oaks. You're gonna have to drive to everything. And when I say drive, it means you have to get on I-10. There's really no back roads into San Antonio. You're gonna have to get on a freeway to go anywhere. They did just open up a new HEB for Fair Oaks, so you don't have to get on the freeway, you just get on the frontage road. But it is still a solid 10 minutes to the grocery store and to any restaurants or anything like that. You're gonna have to jump on I-10 and drive 10 to 15 minutes. Now, there is a hospital in Boerne. I'm not quite sure if it's equipped to handle major emergencies. Usually you're gonna get bused into San Antonio, into medical center, but that's just something to keep in mind depending on, what you're looking for when you're moving to the area. If you want to be close to hospitals or medical facilities, Fair Oaks might not be the answer for you. You might need to be closer to San Antonio to have access to those hospitals.
Con number 3, like Katie mentioned, drive time. This is drive time to schools. Your elementary school, there is one in Fair Oaks, but if you're in Fair Oaks, depending on where you're at, you're still driving, and you're driving on back roads or county roads where the speed limit's not as high. And so drive time is definitely a con that made the list as our con number 3. I personally commuted to Boerne. I remember back when I was a junior and a senior and also a sophomore and a freshman, my brother, I have an older brother, that would drive us to school, and it was every bit of 15, 20 minutes just to get to the high school. Drive time is definitely one of those considerations as a parent. I take my kids to school right now, and it takes me about 5 to 7 minutes. My brother's taking his kid to school, and the middle school is a solid 5-7 miles away. And with that, you get the traffic as well that comes with every elementary school, middle school, and high school. So you need to factor in timing and the distance if that's a concern for you. Your high schooler is getting on the highway, most likely to drive to the high school, which are kind of smack dab downtown Boerne. And so from Fair Oaks, you just got to commute. It's part of living in a small community. Beautiful community, but drive time is definitely a real obstacle that our kids and parents have to face. Secondly is the location within Fair Oaks, depending on if you're on the east side of Ralph Fair, you're gonna be in Comal. So your high school that you're driving to, like being in Bear or Kendall that go to Boerne High School, Comal goes to Smithson Valley. So if living in Fair Oaks, you want to look at where the house is located and which county it feeds into. You could be in multiple counties, Or you could be in Comal, where your high schoolers driving out to Smithson Valley, which is probably a solid 20 minutes, if not longer, especially with traffic and back roads where you do get up in high speeds, 55 miles an hour, with deer and animals crossing the road. And so it's just as a parent, it's just a very real concern, sending your high schooler off every day. And so I know from experience, I did it. And I had one bad experience that I'm not very proud of with the vehicle. I was just going too fast. And, high schoolers tend to do that. And so con number 3.
All right, so that brings us to our last con number 4, which is very similar to one of our pros, but that is that there are older homes in Fair Oaks. The ones that are sitting on larger lots and backing up to the golf course are going to be built in late 70s, early 80s for the most part. There are a few sprinkled in there where people have completely just taken down the older house and built new construction, but there's not a lot of those. So it is something to keep in mind. The average sales price in Fair Oaks is closer to the $600,000 price point. So it's kind of a hard pill to swallow when you're looking at buying a $600,000 to $700,000 house that you're gonna have to still renovate because it's outdated. So that's why a lot of people look at that renovation cost and say, man, it's cheaper just to demolish the house and build what I want on this lot. So we're starting to see that happen a little more. But overall, the homes are built in the 80s. They're beautiful homes. They were built really large. You don't see a lot of big one-story homes in new construction, where in Fair Oaks, you'll see a 3,000, 3,500 one-story home because they didn't really worry about that concrete cost back in the 80s. It wasn't what it is today, right? So you have those beautiful, beautiful lots, but you do have the outdated or older homes. So something to consider, there is a few communities in Fair Oaks that are new builds, like Front Gate or Sutterfeld or Arbor Oaks. There are some, but you've also got to look at school districts to see, because Fair Oaks is small. So if they're building new builds, you're going to be on the outskirts of Fair Oaks, and where does that put you for school and county? So just something to think about. I hope this was informational and helpful for you. Overall, Fair Oaks Ranch is one of the most sought after communities and suburbs in all of the San Antonio and surrounding areas. The schools are great. You've got the hill country vibe. All of the wonderful things that Steve and I have gone over with you. It's just a great community. But if you have any questions about the community or concerns, we would absolutely love to address them or answer any of your questions. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you check out our Fair Oaks vlog, because we show you around and it's a really fun video, one of my favorites, to be honest. So thanks so much, and we'll see you guys on the next one.